like,
Someone call a medic.
breathe, Shinoda, breathe.
This is the Chinoda Wheezing ASMR cast, where we wheeze for your enjoyment in
I don't
a
know,
variety of
what
tones.
was even so funny about that? Like, hello, everyone, and welcome to Anime Club After Dark, the podcast that delves into all things anime, manga, and otaku culture related. I'm your host, Alex, but you can call me Senpai, and joining me tonight, I have our Wizard of Wait What, Chinoda.
Hello, loves.
Oh, dear. And our Chivalry of Shota's, Shotaro.
It's Barbie, bitches.
Oh, God, fuck
What?
off with that bullshit. It's Nick. Don't engage him. He's talking about Nicki Minaj. Don't even engage him.
The best
Oh, okay.
waifu of the season, the year, and the
Bullshit.
century.
So much wrong with what you just said. But
3D, 2D, and 1D.
well, you got the 1D part right. Anyway, so tonight we are going to be talking about a topic that is near and dear to many anime fans' hearts, which is gateway anime. But before we get to that, Chinoda and I just got, well, I got back, but Chinoda and I just got done attending Otakon last week, which by the time this goes up, it'll be 2 weeks ago. But I want to talk about it anyway. So I finally got to meet you, Chinoda. That was cool.
It was a interesting experience. I'm pretty sure I damn near crushed your spine.
Yes, you did. You popped my back for sure when we met.
Oh,
that,
my.
but it wasn't wholly unappreciated. But no. So yeah, Otakon was last week, and I just want to talk about a couple of things that I did while I was there. First of all, I spent way too much in the dealer's room, but what else is fucking new?
What did you buy?
You haven't
Okay.
even made a post about the...
I know. I really need to. And by the time this goes up, I know I will. But I bought my big purchase of the convention was a $400 holo custom figure, which basically
Custom?
what this guy did was he took the holo wedding dress figure from Spice and Wolf, and instead of actually just selling that, he made a custom base for it, which is gorgeous. It's got and it's made out of resin, and it's got like these wolves and like on a tree. It's really, really cool. So I finally have the only holo figure I don't have, which was the wedding dress figure. And the biggest criticism of that figure when it came out was the fact that its base was so incredibly basic, and now I have a base that's anything but basic. And Shinoda saw it. He knows what it looks like, and it's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. In fact,
I mean-
at first I was telling him he shouldn't until he told me it was the last figure he needed. I was like, okay, that's fine then.
Yeah,
If
and
anything, it's good that he spent money on that other than the big purchase he was planning on getting. Alex, you wanna...
Okay, yeah. So I spent a lot of money at the Sentai booth. I know, bad me. I actually just spent a lot of time at the Sentai booth, just talking to the people there. First of all, they actually have legitimate official Legend of Galactic Heroes merchandise you can buy now. Thank fucking Christ for that. But they also had on sale the original Legend of Galactic Heroes OVA Blu-ray set that they are selling for
Girl.
$800.
Why would you buy that? Just get the new one when it comes out.
Well, Sentai actually didn't get the licensing rights to that, sadly. But it's such a gorgeous Blu-ray set. They're
Wait,
only
how
making
much did you
1,000
say?
of them.
How much did you say it was?
$800 US.
That's so stupid.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
man.
stupid
Only
expensive.
Japan can get away with this pricing. Like, who would place $800 for a Blu-ray set.
Well, think about
This
this though. And
guy.
the guy I was talking to pointed this out to me. Of all of the Blu-ray sets that Sentai sells, this one is the cheapest per episode. Think
And,
about
like,
that.
Wait, it's like
doing the
$8
math, it
per
actually-
episode?
It's
$7?
$7.25 per episode, basically.
Well,
Doing the
if
math,
you
that
put it
actually
in
makes sense.
perspective, I guess that does make sense.
Yeah, and you get a ton of really cool stuff that goes with it. You get like a really nice, like 250-page art book, and just it's really nice. One of the things I did buy was a Legend of Galactic Heroes T-shirt. It says I forget what it says. It's for it's the Free Planet Alliance.
Does it say fire?
No, it does not say fire. Fire. But I
The
also
most iconic line.
I know, right? What else did I buy? Oh, I also bought I bought a Umaru keychain. Fuck you. And I also bought
It's okay. I shamed him for it.
the limited edition Flying Witch Blu-ray box set. And actually, the guy that sold it to me was the same guy who did the English subtitles for that show. So that was cool. Yeah. So that was, and he told me that it's the only anime that he's ever subtitled in which he actually fell asleep while he was doing it, and he actually thought that was a good thing.
Nice.
Because that's how relaxing the show is.
Holy shit.
But no, I spent way too much in the dealer's room, and I bought some other stuff, and I'll make a post on our Facebook group about that. But the thing that I wanted to talk about the most about going to Otakon was two of the panels that I went to.
AKA the trigger panels.
Yes, the trigger panels. And
Because guess what? Basically, all of Studio Trigger was at Otakon.
Pretty much. I'm really surprised you didn't go with me to either of them, Shinoda. But
In hindsight, I'm kind of regretting the fact that I didn't go either, but
yeah.
oh well.
But yeah, a bunch of the staff from Studio Trigger was at Otakon, and they had a couple of different panels that they did. The first one that I went to was on Friday. That was it was a Little Witch Academia quiz panel, and basically what it was is they were all up there on the stage, and they asked questions. It was trivia questions about Little Witch Academia, and some questions were just about Trigger in general. And they were giving away prizes, and some of the stuff was prizes that you couldn't get outside of Japan. And some of it was exclusive to the convention, and there were a couple things that were one of a kind that you couldn't have gotten anywhere else. So I have a story about that. So I was at this panel.
Oh no.
Yes, I know. I am a very, very bad boy. So I was at this panel, and one of the questions that was asked was, what was the date that the Kickstarter campaign for Little Witch Academia got fully funded? And I thought about that, and I knew it was around the time of Anime Expo 2015. I couldn't remember exactly when, but I knew it was around that time. And I couldn't remember if it was during Anime Expo or right after Anime Expo. So I went for the safe bet, and I said the first day after Anime Expo, which was July 7th, 2015. That was wrong, but I was told I was really close. And the guy next to me raised his hand, and he answered July 8th, 2015, and that was the right answer. Now,
I
You got
do have to say, I kind of object to this because, like, technically speaking, if they're thinking on Japanese time, Alex got it right because they're a day
fucking
ahead.
technicality, bitches.
Like, I told him this after, and he just had a look on his face that was just
Hurt, shame, loss. But anyway, so as bad as it is, and as bad as I felt after that, I felt even worse knowing what I actually missed out on getting as my prize. The prize for answering this particular question right was a screen-used animation cell from Little Witch Academia, signed by the entire crew of Little Witch Academia. So the director, the producer, the writer, everybody. That's what I missed
who's
out on
the
getting.
dead one?
The creator of Little Witch Academia he died about 3 months ago.
And it had his signature on there as well, right?
Yes, it had his
Yeah.
signature on there as well. so it's not like I can get that signature ever again. But so that was a great panel. It was really fun, and at the end of it, they had like, because there was a bunch of time left over. It's like, so do you guys want to do a Q&A? And they was like, yeah. So that was fun. And then the second panel I went to was a live drawing with Studio Trigger. Basically, the director of Little Witch Academia drew a picture of Akko during a Q&A panel, and that was really fun to watch. But I bring these up not because I do love Studio Trigger and I absolutely adore Little Witch Academia. It's one of my favorite things ever in the anime industry. But I bring this up to raise a very specific point. During one of these panels, it was raised by the president of Studio Trigger, who was also there. He says that, number one, they absolutely adore their Western anime fans, like, more than anything. But also that they want, more than anything, to do more Little Witch Academia. The only thing that's holding them back is funding. And the only reason that Netflix won't give them money for a second season of Little Witch Academia is because Netflix does not believe there is enough interest in a second season of Little Witch Academia. So, and they said this too. The president of Trigger said this too. The solution to this is to make Netflix think that there is a bunch of interest in Little Witch Academia, and the only thing Netflix actually cares about is the number of times the play button is pressed on episodes. So, first off, if you haven't seen Little Witch Academia on Netflix, please go see it. Like, go watch it on Netflix. It doesn't matter what language you watch it in, whether you watch it subbed or dubbed. Just go watch it. And second, if you already have watched Little Witch Academia and you were one of those people that sailed the 7 seas to watch it while it was airing because you wanted to watch it week to week, first of all, I understand. Second of all, please go watch it again on Netflix so Netflix knows that there's actual interest in this, because the director of Little Witch Academia has already said that he has nearly a full season's worth of story ideas in his head, and they're ready to go whenever Netflix gives them the money to do it. So...
Yeah,
please,
that's another
please
thing
go
that
support
really,
Studio Trigger.
That's another thing that really surprised me. They straight out came out and said, "Yeah, we actually have more content we can actually give you guys." And I'm like, "Yo, if you guys have that stuff, let's get it funded. Let's get it supported." Because, like, I honestly thought where they ended it was pretty damn good. But if they have more and they actually can pull it off, and if anyone can, they can do it right. I'm like, let's do it. Let's get more.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just it's also Studio Trigger. I mean, they're a great anime studio, and they treat their animators really, really well. So definitely support them anytime you get the chance. And if you're not already, and you have a little extra money that you can do without every single month, consider becoming a supporter of theirs on Patreon. I mean, I know they only had the 2 small $1 and $5 tiers, but just go support them, because they want to make more than they currently are making. They just need funding to do it. So, and the only way they can get funding is to know that there's actual interest in what they do overseas, because and they admitted this themselves during one of the Q&A panels I went to. It's like, we know that we know that by and large we're appreciated far more overseas than we are in Japan. So we rely on you guys to be kind of our voice. And I think that it's great that they actually trust us enough to do that, but also that they want us to do that. So definitely go support Trigger in any way you can. Certainly go watch Little Witch Academia on Netflix. If you haven't, it's worth your time. If you have already seen it, go see it again, because you know you love it. Anyway, that's all I got to say. They also did mention that they want to do a second season of Panty and Stocking as well.
Yes, I'm ready.
So there's that. I mean, if you want these two things, definitely go support Studio Trigger legally as much as you can.
They need it, and they can give us so much more content. Let's do it, people.
And they want to. That's the thing. They want to. They're so limited by their budget right now that they can't.
If they're using the Netflix metrics, maybe they should push Netflix to release their content on time.
I'm actually
another thing.
in the week, almost week now since I've been back from Otakon, I've actually been thinking about this. I've actually been seriously considering starting up a letter writing campaign to Netflix. See, listen, in addition to people going and watching more of it, which you should anyway, like, listen, there's a lot more interest here than you think there is, and we would really appreciate it is if, number one, that you would fund a second season of this, and number two, that if you do, please release it weekly, worldwide, simultaneously.
I don't care how you release it, just don't have it available on other platforms before it's available on Netflix.
Well, yeah, that'd be nice too.
That's the only issue with Netflix.
That'd be nice too. I mean, the week-to-week thing sure would be nice for a lot of us too. I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean, I would personally prefer to have it all at once.
Well, yeah. I mean, to each their own. But anyway, there were a couple other panels that I went to, but that was by far, those two panels were by far the highlight of my entire convention.
Oh, Alex, do you want to tell them about the signatures you got?
The signatures? Oh, from the Studio
Yeah.
Trigger staff?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there was in between one of the panels I went to, the Studio Trigger staff was down giving autographs, and I went and lined up for it. And they recognized me from the Q&A panel as the one who was wrong by one day, and so one of them actually wrote down at the underneath their signature, "Never forget Anime Expo 2015, July 8th."
They fucking trolled Alex.
They trolled me.
Wow.
Staff of Studio Trigger trolled me, and you know what? I feel good. I feel good about this. They can troll me anytime they want. But it was good.
I had a
man.
good laugh when I saw that date on the signature.
Yeah.
He also got a live drawing from who was it? The president?
No, the director of Little Witch Academia.
The director, yes.
Drew me a little Akko underneath of his signature.
Nice.
Yeah, like straight up asked him, "Who's your favorite character?" He said,
Akko.
Akko. And he just drew a quick Akko.
Yeah.
It actually looks really good too.
Anyway, I mean, and there were other panels I went to. There was one you and I both went to, Chinoda. You're wrong and you should feel bad. Thank you for dragging me to that because it was really fun.
They are enjoyable people.
And I thought when
they
when
shit
they started
talked about. Actually, you go ahead. You're gonna get
no.
it better
So basically, what it is it's this group of people called the Manly Battleships. Was that it?
Yes, if I remember it. Let me look it up real quick.
I so want to have them on our podcast at some point, like really, because number one, they were funny as fuck, and number two, like I just wanted to go up there and kiss that guy because everything he was saying is like, I've said all of this before. So basically, it was a panel called the panel we went to was a panel called "You're Wrong and You Should Feel Bad," and it's basically where they pick, and it wasn't just anime that they talked about, but they basically pick something in pop culture, and then especially something that is well liked, and they will pick it apart and take the piss out of it. So, Shinoda has actually been to one of these panels before at a previous Otakon, I believe.
Multiple of their panels
yeah,
before.
Yeah. So that's why he dragged me too. It's like, you will like this. You will like this. It's like, okay. But then we get in there, and then what is the first thing that they take the shit out of but Attack on Titan? And I'm like,
they take a steaming shit on it.
Oh, and I mean, and you know what? I was really surprised because a lot of the people when they were like taking apart all this stuff about Attack on Titan, everyone was like really clapping really loud. I was like, wow, more people agree with me than I thought.
It
that was
validated Alex, and he really liked that.
I felt
essentially.
He doesn't need encouragement. Yes. Stop it.
He got a whole room full of it.
I got an entire fucking ballroom full of it because it was one of the big
this
rooms
isn't a small room. This is a pretty damn big room.
And then they also, for the second part of it, they took apart Star Wars, which I also thought was really funny.
Oh yeah.
And
not
for a
in
second
a
there, they kept
shitty
teasing
way.
it.
They actually made good points.
They did. They made a lot of good points about Star Wars. Especially, I wasn't expecting them to do the original 3 movies, but they did, and I'm glad for it because they actually pointed out some legitimate criticisms about those movies. And so they didn't just talk about the new movies, which admittedly do suck. But and I want to say before we move on, because we've talked about this long enough, probably the other really big most exciting thing about this going to Otakon was, for the first time, I actually, well, both me and Shinoda, we got to meet some of the listeners of our podcast. So if you were one of the ones that showed up, first of all, thank you. Your support is incredibly appreciated. And I know there were some people that were there that I didn't get a chance to meet. I'm sorry, I couldn't be everywhere at once. Maybe next time. I don't know for a fact if I'll be back at Otakon next year. I might be, but it was an absolute thrill getting a chance to meet people who actually listen to our podcast, and they were talking about some of the stuff that we talked about. And it's like, I just absolutely thrilled that we have enough supporters and followers that we can actually meet up with them in public now, and it's like, it's really cool. So
it was legitimately mind-blowing, the fact that we got to meet up with people that are actually fans of what we do. It's like, wow, okay, there are people out there
that actually care about what we do. It's like, what?
For some context, in the beginning we did just start this for fun.
That's true, we did,
and that's still the goal of this, don't get us wrong.
Yeah,
but still,
we'll keep doing it until we're not having fun anymore, I assume.
But
yeah, that was absolutely wonderful. I think that, and I'll try to go. I'm going to try and go to at least 2 conventions a year from here on out, but I can't guarantee that. Obviously, money is a big factor in that. But it was really fun getting to meet the people that I did meet. And like I said, hopefully I can do it again sometime. One last thing before we move on. I want to say that comparing this to what I did last year, which is going to Anime Expo, I have to say, while Anime Expo might have had more industry stuff to go do, I have to say I very much like the city of Washington, D.C. more than the city of Los Angeles. Take from that what you will.
You can actually breathe in D.C., surprisingly.
Yes, you can actually breathe when you go outside. And there's not homeless people everywhere. But anyway, I digress. But rolling off of the topic of going to a convention, there was one last thing that you wanted to talk about, Show, before we move on.
Okay, I just wanted to bring up a recent news item that internet celebrity Melon Pan, who is known for his wonderful escapades of
he's known for being the masterpiece of the internet.
Yes, of posting nude with figures and being just generally lewd with like hentai paraphernalia
and ejaculating on figures.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, that too. This lovely gentleman actually went to Comic-Con this year, I think. I don't know when Comic-Con was, but
it was a couple weeks ago.
Okay, so that's the time that he went. He's from Sweden, and he bought like, oh god, I don't know the exact amount, but it's
I thought he was from Switzerland.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Switzerland, not Sweden.
Oh my god. They both start with SW. Okay,
wow.
He's from Switzerland.
What a racist.
And he bought like pounds of lolly doujinshis at Comic-Con.
Specifically 66 pounds. Imagine that, 66 pounds worth of doujins.
Girl. Yeah, I'm like, girl, you crazy. And then he couldn't fit in his suitcase, so he just mailed it back to Switzerland. And then when he came back to Switzerland and went to pick up his mail, he realized that the customs had seized it, and he was wanted for questioning by the police.
Wow.
And it was specifically a
what
female
a legend.
interrogator who was not pleased with what was there going on him. He did not have a fun time, from what he said.
Wait, you guys, I assume, follow Melon Pan more than I do. Does he speak Japanese? Do you know?
I think he speaks about as much Japanese as you do.
Okay, because like it's so funny because on the article it's linked to one of his tweets and it's in like full Japanese and it's just like I had to Google translate it and he was
He
just
might
like,
he might
I
be
don't
he might be
know.
like moderately fluent. I don't know if he's like 100% fluent though.
No, I'm just interpreting that as he Google translated it himself.
He could have. I don't know. I mean, that would be definitely be in character for
Because
him for sure.
the article itself poked fun at the grammar he used in his tweets. But like in his fully Japanese tweet, he was like complaining about the female officer that was interrogating him about his lolly hentai, which is hilarious. But
Let
he
me
finally
ask
got
you.
it back. He finally got the lolly hentai out of customs, and now he's living happily with his
Yeah.
66 pounds of hentai.
Yeah. Let me ask you
Apparently,
something real quick though. So you've been to Japan show, and
Uh-huh.
I believe you actually went to Comic-Con last year, did you not?
I don't know where this is going, but
Didn't
what are
well
you saying?
didn't while you were in Japan, did you not buy Shota Dojinshi?
That is not true.
That seems like an evading of the question if ever I heard it. I think I need to make a call to the Mounties,
I only
sir.
bought safe for work fluff.
That's bullshit. So,
So,
yes, you bought some hardcore Shota Dojinshi.
no.
You
Oh
probably
my
bought the manga version
God.
of Boku no Pico,
Wow.
which is a thing that actually exists. I just found that out a few weeks ago.
Oh no. I bought like cutesy boys eating cake and like having tea parties.
Lies.
That's what I bought. Yeah.
I
it's
just know that,
comparable to the
there have
other
been people
dungeons.
there have been people in Canada that have gotten in trouble for that kind of stuff too.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's why I ask.
Oh, what a sensitive question to ask.
I thought figuring you are Canadian, it'd be a good chance to ask the question, but seeing as you don't actually want to talk about it because you're probably under indictment or something.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have nothing to hide.
Anyway, so moving on to the actual topic we're talking about tonight. So,
Finally.
fuck you. We had some stuff to talk about. I got back from
I'm
Oatscon.
just kidding.
Fuck you.
I'm just kidding. Jesus.
So we're talking about gateway anime tonight. So I want to start off by asking you guys, what do you guys think is a gateway anime?
Something that people can watch without having seen any anime before and still enjoy.
Would that be the same for you, Chinoda?
I think it's moreover an anime that can really get people into the world of anime.
I
Like,
know you didn't just yawn.
I feel
I know you didn't just yawn on this fucking podcast. Fuck
I
you.
didn't. I was stretching. I'm sorry if it sounded
Lies.
like a yawn.
That was a yawn.
Oh my god. Okay, let me say that again. Ow! Fuck!
He's dying. He's literally killing himself right now because he yawned.
I was lifting myself up and like my hand caught the wire of my headphone and like yanked it down on the side of my face.
Beautiful.
Oh, anyway, let me say that again. I personally think that gateway anime is anime that people can watch, and it is the intro for them to get into the world of anime and manga and the otaku culture. I
Kinda like what
think
this
there
podcast
are
is about.
definitely anime that you can watch. Just to give an example, stuff like Death Note. You can just watch it as is and enjoy it, but it won't necessarily be a gateway anime for some people. They might very well just enjoy that specific. I believe gateway anime could very well be a whole nother style. It's what people can watch and really start their journey into the culture.
All right. Well, that being said, for both of you, what was y'all's first anime? And looking back, do you consider it a gateway anime?
Well, I talked about it on the Code Geass podcast that my first anime was, well, technically, well, I watched a lot of like Pokemon and Digimon before, but that I don't really consider that anime because I didn't know it was anime at the time. But my first like anime that I was aware was anime was Death Note. And do I consider it a gateway anime? By Shinoda's definition, no. But by my definition, as in like you can enjoy it without having any context of the culture of Japan, then yeah, I think you can enjoy it without any intro.
Okay, that's
For
fair enough. What about you, Chinoda? What was your first anime, and do you actually still think it's a gateway anime?
I honestly don't remember what my first actual anime that I watched was. It was a very long time ago. I think it was probably on one of the old channels. But the first anime that actually got me into the anime world is Naruto. Now,
Okay, fair
I
enough. I
did
mean, I don't think you'd be hard pressed to find anyone who says that's not a gateway anime.
Yeah. Now, I did watch Dragon Ball, and not Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball on the Funimation channel way back in the day. I bet some of you didn't even know
Wow.
Funimation had a channel.
I do, and that is going in the way back machine, my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
That
I
was when
earned my
Funimation was
time,
like streaming. No, we don't need this. We need our own TV channel.
and damn, was that a good channel. I missed that channel. I would actually have service just to have that channel. No lie.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, like I did watch stuff on that channel and such back in the day, but what really got me into the culture of everything was Naruto. Way back in the day when I was just entering middle school and it was starting to become a popular hit with everyone and I decided to check it out and it really got me into everything and so on and so forth and here I am today.
All right. Well, being that you both basically said that it's the gateway anime are ways that people can get basically get into anime. Um, what are some of the factors that go into making an anime a gateway anime?
I think popularity definitely has something to do with it. For example, I'll use something very recent. My Hero Academia. There's a lot of people that have started watching anime just because of My Hero. I've talked to various people around the area and they actually started asking for recommendations. Um so, for some context, I have a backpack with a lot of buttons on it, two of which are Otakon buttons, which have two My Hero Academia characters on them. And people recognize that and ask, oh, hey, cool, you watched that. Do you recommend watching it? What other animes do you recommend? Like, a lot of people have actually stopped and asked me these questions, and I'm really happy to help out with these people, help them broaden their horizons, get them into the community, basically.
Okay, I have a funny story about MHA. And it
Oh
actually happened.
no.
It happened last night. Actually, I went to the
We're,
gym last night at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, um, and I got on the treadmill. And the gym I go to has like 2 rows of treadmills, but each treadmill has a TV screen in front of it, so you can watch local television. And I got on there and I just started watching. I was watching Sports Center or something while I was jogging, and there was a guy got on the treadmill in front of me, and he turned on Toonami and he started watching MHA.
A
And I'm thinking, my, what a small world.
That's
Uh,
pretty damn awesome, though.
it's actually funny. My cousin who doesn't watch anime at all texted me recently asking if she should watch MHA because a friend recommended her it.
yeah.
And I'm like, girl, reevaluate your life.
What, bitch? No, get your cousin into anime. It doesn't matter where they start, just get them started. What's wrong with you?
Not with that poison.
No, get them started. They can learn from their mistakes. They can learn. Just get them on the path.
Oh my god.
Um,
that also kind of raises another factor that makes an anime a gateway anime, and that's ease of accessibility. I mean, think about MHA for a think about MHA for a second. You don't really have to know a whole lot going in to understand it. I mean, and there's not really that much to it when you get right down to the nitty gritty of it. So it's really easy to pick up something like that and just keep with it, especially if you're really new to the medium.
You know, when you wrote down ease of accessibility on the doc, I'm like, do you mean like streaming accessibility?
No. I meant just easy to pick up.
Okay, I was
Because-
thinking like accessibility in the same way show was actually like
Because like that
For them,
actually might
how
be a
to
factor
find
too.
it.
Oh, well,
honestly.
yeah, you're right. That in itself could be a factor. How easy it is to find a certain anime could make it a gateway anime for sure. I mean, something that's really, really old that might actually be a good gateway anime, but no one actually has on a streaming service might not really apply anymore because no one
Yeah.
can watch it. But no, I meant accessibility in terms of how easy is it to pick up and just, go through it.
Yeah, like complicated shows like Monogatari is just a no-no.
No, so I have
It's
another
too
funny
much.
story about that.
What?
So, I have a cousin who was in college, and he says, so I got a bunch of people around me that talk about anime all the time, and I was thinking about giving some a try. He says, "Is there any you would recommend trying out for like a first try?" And I jokingly said to him, the Monogatari series. And I'll be damned if he didn't go watch it. And he came back and was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Girl.
Christ.
The first
It's like,
the
I was being
first,
facetious. Like, don't watch the Monogatari series as your first anime ever.
The first like 3 minutes of Bakemonogatari is like the surefire way to like repel any newcomers from
Exactly,
ever
it's like-
coming, ever watching anime.
It's like otaku be gone. Just no. I mean, that's not a great way to get someone into anime with the Monogatari series. No. That is not accessible in the least. You have to know a little bit about Japanese culture to understand it. But I also think that plays into something else that you wrote down here, which is appealing to Western sensibilities. I mean,
Which is also ties in with MHA.
it does, because if you've ever heard of a comic book, then you can probably understand MHA, because it's basically what it is. It's basically like Japan's version of the Marvel universe.
Yep.
That's it. I mean, and I think, yeah, something like that definitely appeals to Western sensibilities. You got, it's nothing that Western people haven't seen before. So
Definitely.
it's just an animated version of something that's familiar to them. And so it makes it really easy to pick up. Like, and as much as I poo-poo on MHA, I actually do agree with you, both of you, that it's actually a good, it's a good gateway anime. It's the best gateway anime that you got going right now, I think.
Listen, don't lump me in with Shinoda. I never said MHA was a good gateway anime.
Okay. Well,
Show-
I agree with Shinoda then.
Thank you.
I actually do
Yeah.
think of stuff that's currently like around right now, like not necessarily airing, but definitely like relatively recent. I would say it's probably the best example of a gateway anime.
Attack on Titan.
No. Well, okay, in the sense that, yeah, there's nowhere to go but up. Yeah, I'll say Attack on Titan's a good gateway anime. Oh, that shut you up, didn't it? Bitch. Shinoda, calm down. Oh my god.
Okay.
So he's having like a legitimate like crisis over there. It's like, ooh, calm down.
Oh no.
I think he's like,
Someone call a medic.
breathe, Shinoda, breathe.
This is the Shinoda Wheezing ASMR cast, where we wheeze for your enjoyment in
I don't know,
a variety of
what was even so
tones.
funny about that? Like, okay, I proved it wrong. Okay, I've done that many times before.
Are you having an asthma attack?
Is it like the fact that like Bryan Cranston just dropped the mic and like, boom, bitch, go.
Don't make me laugh again.
Are you good?
My head's dizzy.
Oh no.
Well, moving on. Let's see if we can
Sorry,
stop
John.
making him laugh. Oh no, he's probably gonna have a ball editing that out. So I have this theory, and you guys feel free to prove me wrong, that movies in general make better gateway anime than series. Am I wrong?
I
I
feel
think
like
it's specific movies.
I feel like that's a popular opinion that I disagree with because I don't like a lot of movies, so I don't really see them as good gateway anime.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm thinking of this in terms of like Ghost in the Shell. The original Ghost in the Shell movie, I think, makes a good gateway anime. And the first anime I ever watched was a Ghibli movie called Nazca of the Valley of the Wind, and that probably more than anything is why I became an anime fan to begin with. So I've heard a lot of people, especially people who got into anime at a very young age, get into anime through Ghibli movies. So where am I wrong?
I don't like Ghibli movies. I haven't seen Ghost in the Shell. I don't
Okay,
know.
but why do you that may be, but why do you actually think that series make better gateway anime than movies?
Because they tell better stories.
Okay. But do you not think that Ghost in the Shell is a good story?
I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, you haven't seen it. What the fuck are you
You
waiting
can't even
on?
speak on it then.
I'm not speaking on Ghost in the Shell in particular.
Well, what are some anime movies that you have seen that might qualify as gateway anime?
I don't know your name. Summer Wars?
So,
I don't know.
Summer Wars.
Oh, wait,
Summer
what
Wars.
was
I
Summer
would
Wars
say.
is an excellent gateway
Summer
movie,
Wars
though.
would make a great gateway anime movie. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't know.
You like
how it
Summer
would-
Wars though, don't you?
I do. I like it, but I don't see how it would like retain someone's. It's so Japanese though. Like the
that's-
climax is shogi, right?
No, it's not. That's not shogi.
It's like a
it's
Japanese.
some fucking made up game that they play.
Is it made up?
It's a card game.
It was the.
Anyways, it's some Japanese thing.
It was the.
Koi Koi. Koi Koi
yeah,
was
Koi
the name
Koi.
of the game.
Okay.
I knew it started with a K. I was like, K. Kaiki? No.
Anyways, I mean, and what was that other movie? The one with the wolf children? Is it called Wolf?
Wolf
Children?
Children.
Children?
It's literally Wolf
Okay.
Children.
It's literally called Wolf Children.
Whatever. That one. Those are like some.
That was a
anime
pretty
movies
good
I've
movie
seen.
too, and I'd say, I wouldn't say that qualifies as a gateway anime. No, I wouldn't.
Anyway, yeah, I just don't think like.
Is it because that with a series you get a lot more chance to get to know the characters than you do a movie typically?
Yeah, you get a lot more time to do everything.
Character interaction and build up and such.
Well, I guess I can definitely see that, but I can also see that how a movie might spark someone's interest in trying out a series.
The movie is a low investment in time, so it's a low impact.
I think that's a personal choice, though. It
I thi-
depends
yeah.
on how easily you can get invested into such things.
Yeah, I think that is more of a like individual thing. Some people react more to movies, and some people react more to more long form stories. I would certainly say that like for young kids, the Ghibli movies are great because most of them aren't very long, and a lot of them are really easy to like grasp as a young child. I think that's why they make good gateway anime for young kids. That's just me. I just know that there's a lot of people who got into anime when they were really young kids through Ghibli movies, so I think it's a legitimate way to get interested in the genre.
It's a pretty damn good way, especially considering how I don't want to say deep. Moreover, how enjoyable it is for such a wide audience, no matter who you are or where you're from. You can just sit down to enjoy a Studio Ghibli movie.
Yeah, I mean, it literally is the Disney of the anime industry because, I mean, you look at Disney movies, there are Disney movies that adults still love after years. And you can say the same thing about Ghibli movies. Like, I still love My Neighbor Totoro. I still love Nausicaa the Valley of the Wind. I still love Porco Rosso. I have yet to see a Ghibli movie from all those years ago that I still don't like today as an adult. So I think
essentially.
in that sense, it definitely does what Disney does for Western animation. It makes stuff that's appealable to both young kids and to adults who watched it years ago. Um, so moving on, a lot of the anime that we've referenced so far tonight are would definitely qualify as being in the shonen genre. And there's a lot of people out there who say that in the anime industry, that is the gateway genre. Do both of you actually believe that that's true?
It's the gateway genre for
Genre,
young.
genre.
Yeah, this is Chinese. No, it's the gateway genre for young boys. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was going in middle school, there were a lot of other boys who were really into like the big three at the time, which were Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. Um, which I think pretty much exemplifies the shonen genre, especially for the time. Um,
What I was trying to say with that comment is like, it's as much a gateway genre as any genre is for their respective demographic.
okay. What about you, Chinoda?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Don't start laughing again. Don't. He's still laughing in his head. I know he is. Do you actually believe that the shonen genre can be classified as a gateway genre?
I believe so, yes. It's a rather simple genre overall, and it's really easy to pick up on and just sit down and watch. You can get hooked on it pretty easily. It's like any generic action movie. You can just sit down and watch it. Now,
And fall
if you want
asleep.
more, if you want something more in depth or even better, you have to go looking, and at that point, you're in. But before
Yeah, but
then,
it's definitely that genre, the shonen genre, is what got people in the first place.
oh, most definitely, a vast majority of people in the industry now, not industry, let me say, in the culture, got into it thanks to shonen stuff. I will say that, and I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure a majority of people will agree.
yeah. Um, I had a thought, now it's gone. Oh, and I think that to Show's point, it's like, yeah, I think for a lot of young men growing up, the shonen genre can definitely get them in, but I don't think it's necessarily limited to men. Like, there's a lot of girls that I know today and knew growing up that watched a lot of shonen anime.
Yeah.
So
If
I don't think it's
anything,
necessarily limited to the gender that it's the demographic is aimed at.
yeah, if anything, which shows becoming much more diverse, and they have been over the years. So there's a lot more uh casts featuring other genders. There's more inclusion, and thanks to that, especially people, even more people are getting into things.
And it's also it's funny that over the last, I'd say, maybe decade, you're starting to see this creep in of like for years the shonen genre has been like basically for boys by boys. Like and the cast is mostly male, a mostly male cast of characters. But over the last like decade or so, you've seen this creep in of shows that are including more and more female characters in their cast, and in fact, you're starting to see some that that are led by a female character. I mean, the probably the best example of that in terms of a gateway anime, I'd say, is Soul Eater, which its main character is a girl, Maka Albarn.
Yeah, and it never takes away from the series itself. If more than anything, it adds to it because it's a whole nother perspective, and they're just as interesting as characters, if not even more interesting because of that.
And then you look at the cast of MHA, and it's like almost 50-50 in terms of boys and girls. Maybe
Yes.
not quite 50-50, maybe 60-40, but still pretty close to
It's
even.
still pretty big, yeah.
A lot closer than something like from years ago, like Inuyasha or hell, even Naruto. Naruto had some females in the cast, but it was largely men. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think you're starting to see a sort of a shift in that. Like it used to be that shonen, and I still believe that it's a really good gateway genre, but it used to be just for getting men into anime. But I think that that's sort of changing a little bit, at least in the West. I don't know how it is in Japan. That'd be interesting to find out, actually.
I think, I think that I could be wrong, but Shonen Jump's readership is like 50 around 50-50 male and female. So it might be in like that in Japan too.
Okay, yeah. And it's
But
funny.
yeah.
It's they recently did for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is not a gateway anime or manga at all. But they recently did something similar with the fans. They had like a fan event thing where they polled a bunch of the fans, and they found out that the readership of JoJo's is about 55-45 male female. That's pretty close to even.
I mean, what I was trying to say with that comment is that about like it's targeted towards men is that like there's a lot of female targeted shoujo anime that a lot of women, well, yeah, like a lot of women from the West get into anime through.
That's very true.
Sometimes that's overlooked because because like when the otaku voices are mostly male, so it's mostly about like the shonen anime, but like a lot of women get in to anime through shoujo.
Well, I think a really good example of that is Sailor Moon.
Or even something more modern, Princess Jellyfish.
Yeah, that's not necessarily modern, but yes, it's newer than Sailor Moon. It's like from 2003 or 4, isn't it?
I don't know.
No, it
looks like it's like from there.
Could have sworn it was more recent than that.
I mean, hell, you can look at something like Ouran High School Host Club, which is unbelievably marketed toward women, and like there's a lot of girls I've talked to. It's like, yeah, I got into anime through Ouran High School Host Club. What of it?
Tell that to young me. I fucking loved it back in the day, and I still love it to this very day. God damn,
I remember when we were at Otakon, you saw someone dressed up as Honey Senpai, and you're like,
I did. He can confirm. I fucking freaked.
I thought I was going to have to like hold you back. You're going to go glomp this person. It's like, no, I don't want the police involved in this. I have to go back home.
Ouran was my gateway anime to doujinshi.
You know what? And I was gonna say there's a lot of doujinshi for Ouran High School Host Club. Don't ask me why I know this. I just do. But there's like a disproportionate amount of doujinshi out there for Ouran High School Host Club. Like, and I think to myself, was it really that popular that it needed like 30 different volumes of doujinshi? Apparently so.
You say 30, but that's like barely scratching the surface.
Oh, I know. I haven't even seen half of it, and it's like some of it I don't want to see, but some shows just get a disproportionate amount of doujinshi. It's like, what about all these other good shows that I want to watch these characters fuck?
Make your own doujinshi.
Do you think that if I could draw that good, I would be here?
Doesn't have to be good.
Damn.
No, but it has to exist. I can't draw for shit. Oh, man. All right, well, I think that to wrap this up, why don't we have a little bit of a recommendation corner? Let's
do that.
So I've kind of divided this into 3 different segments, and we've talked about a few of these shows already tonight, but I want you all to give some recommendations for gateway anime that you guys would recommend for kids, teens, and adults. And I want to specify for kids, I'm thinking of children between the ages of like 5 and 11, 12. And then teens are obviously teenagers, and anything over like 18, 20 is adult. So I actually completely agree with the first thing you listed here, Show.
Okay, so for the kids, I recommended Little Witch Academia. I really like Little Witch Academia, especially because it's a mostly female cast, and they were like really interesting female characters. And you don't get a lot of that, and it's really kid friendly too.
It's very wholesome.
Yes. So I really liked that it had female representation in it, and it wasn't like throwaway characters. That's one issue I have with shonen, that a lot of the female characters are really flat and throwaway. So Little Witch Academia I highly recommend because they actually have interesting multi-dimensional female characters.
Yes, and I would like to point out that as an Irish American, it was an anime that gave us another Irish character, which now we're up to what, 3 in the entire anime like universe. So thank you for that. But yeah, Little Witch Academia is great for introducing kids to anime because there's nothing really, there's no not a lot. There is some violence, but it's very comedic violence, so you don't really have to worry about that.
It's all
But, like,
magic.
It's all
real.
magic. And it's just so wholesome. All right, well, I have 2 that I wanted to throw out there for if you're trying to get children into anime. The first one I want to talk about is Squid Girl. I mean, Squid Girl is Squid Girl. It's kind of a like absurdist comedy, but it's not something where you have to like pay attention that much to understand what's going on. So it's really good for young kids. There's not any violence whatsoever in it. A lot of the characters are really funny. Some of the characters like are really good introductions to anime character archetypes. Like there's a yandere in it, who doesn't really. It's not like a romantic yandere. It's just someone who's like just goes from 0 to 60 like in the snap of a finger. But it's just I like Little Witch Academia. It's mostly wholesome. You have some stuff that is a little iffy for really young kids. But if you're looking to introduce a kid to anime that's kind of funny for both young kids and adults, go with Squid Girl. But the second one I want to talk about is something that both you, Show, and I really love, and that is a show called Haikyuu.
Yes.
So
Good show.
I wanted to find like a sports anime because I thought that there's some sports anime out there that you could probably use as a gateway anime, and I picked Haikyuu because and you talked about it too, that it's something that you don't have to really, anyone can pick it. You don't even have to care about volleyball, which is what the show's about. You don't even have to care about volleyball to actually love Haikyuu. But it's something that's so easy to pick up. It's really easy to stay with because, like episode to episode, it keeps up the intensity, especially in its 3rd season. And that's another thing. It has 3 seasons worth of material, so there's enough to keep you going for a little while. Yeah, it's just a solid sports anime that I think appeals to a broad range of people, even people who don't care about sports. That's how well done it is, I think.
Yeah, especially like one of its best points is that it's consistently well animated and well rendered.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like it's like a cinematic experience for the entire time. So it's good eye candy to keep you interested like that.
Also has a really good soundtrack.
Yeah. So I watched Haikyuu in sub, which brings me to the issue that like you can't have a gateway anime for kids that's in sub. It has to be dubbed, which limits a lot of anime. I don't know. Haikyuu probably does have a dub.
It does. Actually, it is airing, I say, on High Dive, I think has it.
I don't know how good the dub is.
I haven't listened to it, but it does have a dub.
That's one issue, is that like for teens, obviously for kids, it's just physically some of them can't even read that fast.
Mm-hmm.
I feel, right?
Well, I think also with kids you have to worry about like a lot of kids aren't going to sit there for like an hour or two and read something on TV.
Yeah, they're there for cheap entertainment, and they're not going to get that from reading. So
that's the good thing about Little Witch Academia. Little Witch Academia has a fantastic dub.
If you manage to find kids that do enjoy reading, you can start them off on it, and it'll go considerably easier. But considering how a majority of kids are, it just won't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a huge obstacle for.
Yeah, and that's something we actually haven't talked about. The fact that if you're getting a young kid into anime, probably helps if it's dubbed.
It probably has to be dubbed.
Yeah, I mean, unless you have like a really like a kid with a really good attention span. Yeah, Chinoda, what do you got for kids?
I have for kids Pokemon, one of the biggest franchises.
Do you not see the trap I led you in? What do you have for kids? Pokemon.
I don't get it.
before kids did the dub for Pokemon.
Oh.
Listen, I didn't say it was a good pun. I just said it existed.
Alex, please jump out your window.
Damn. He's on the
BRB,
first
killing
floor.
myself currently.
Anyways, Pokemon, extremely easy show to get into that any kid can just up and enjoy. It's not complicated. The premise is simple, and you can literally you can literally watch whatever episode you want, and you can still enjoy it. Hell, I know that's what I did half the time when I was a kid just getting into Pokemon. It's good
Yeah.
and I'll be honest, it's not just for kids, but it works for everyone. Like that
Bro.
is one of the wonderful
I
things
think
about
no,
Pokemon.
I gotta disagree with you there. I think it's mostly for kids and young teens.
Yeah.
I
if
will
you, if
argue
you
with
haven't
you on
been,
that.
If you haven't been hooked on Pokemon as a kid, then you're not gonna be hooked on it as later on in life.
Not,
I will
like,
call
if
BS on that because there are some damn good arcs in Pokemon that are
Oh,
enjoyable by everyone.
But our point is, like, if you're gonna watch Pokemon from the beginning, you're probably not gonna get into it when you're like a 25-year-old adult.
More than likely not, yeah.
That's our point.
Shh, let's move on. For teens.
Yes, for teens. Show you got a lot of stuff listed here
know.
because you are perpetually 15 years old and will never grow up.
Yep.
Wow.
So start off on the edge train.
Yes. Okay. Edge number 1 is Attack on Titan, the edgiest show ever.
And as I learned at Otakon, is only good for its porn.
What?
That was the
Link to
conclusion.
me.
No, that was the conclusion of the panel that we went to that shit all over
I
Attack
didn't
on
even-
Titan. They
oh,
asked it at the end, what is it good for? If all of this is true, what is it good for?
And they
Porn!
made us shout it out too, like give me a P, give me a O, give me a R, give
They
me
also
a
showed
N.
a panel. They also showed a panel of a doujinshi with Eren Yeager having a giant Titan-sized dick, and I was like, what the fuck?
That was
Girl,
a good battle.
I've read some vor porn of Aaron and a Titan. Anyways, yeah, Attack on Titan, not for the porn, for the
Only for the porn.
edge. No, for the edge. Oh my god, the best part of Attack on Titan are the vertical lines on their foreheads of everyone, all at all times. That is literally the best part of Attack on Titan.
It's how you get wrinkles, man. Those anime
my
forehead
God.
lines.
I love how
Oh,
they just
Lord.
they just stare at each other like they're gonna kill each other every single shot. I'm done. Okay. Anyways, Attack on Titan, good for the edge. Moving on to another edge is Death Note, which we already
Death
talked
Note.
about. For those edge lords, tweens that are looking to edge it out. And I also talked about some female targeted anime that would be good gateway. So you talked about Uran. There's also Free, which my younger cousins got into anime with Free because
Oh,
they were
God.
thirsty AF, and Free had the water. That had the water to quench their thirst. And also Black Butler is a pretty good shoujo gateway anime.
I like how the shoujo that you listed here, with the exception of probably Oran, is just Fujoshi baits.
I mean,
that
Fujoshi
is
bait
the
works
genre.
though, especially for teens.
I guess when you're at your horniest, you want some Fujoshi bait, don't you?
Oh honey, I watched Uran for Fujoshi bait.
Of course you.
There
do.
is a little bit of Fujoshi bait in Oran. It's not explicitly Fujoshi bait, but there is some.
How is it not explicitly Fujoshi bait?
There are some episodes that aren't Fujoshi baity.
But there are some that are.
Oh yeah, I would say probably 50-50.
Okay. Anyway, we have a lot of shonen listed in our teen recommendations here.
Shocking.
The one I did was Food Wars, which is a little risky because it's got that ecchi aspect.
The food porn. Literal
Yeah.
porn, though.
But I think Food Wars does it quirkily enough. It plays it off as humor, so I think it would be a pretty decent um gateway.
Yeah, I would agree with that, except just, probably don't want to watch this with your parents, and definitely don't want to watch it with young kids, that's for sure.
This is
Yeah.
the teen section anyways.
I know, but, teens will watch stuff with their kid brothers or kid sisters.
Okay.
I'm just saying, don't probably. It isn't probably if you're gonna introduce like if you're a teenager and you want to introduce like anime to your parents, Food War is probably not the best way to go.
Unless somehow your
Unless
parents are just as perverted
chill.
as you,
Yeah,
then it
really
might
chill.
be a good experience.
I'm
I don't
actually
know,
half
but Food
tempted.
Wars isn't even perverted though.
I'm half tempted though with Food Wars. I really want to show it to my father because my father works in the food service industry.
Oh my god. I want to show Food Wars to my other cousin who's like a total foodie who like thinks about food 24/7. And I'm like,
I
like
identified with that.
literally she talks about orgasming to food and I'm like, girl, you just need to watch Food Wars.
Holy shit, she actually does.
Yes.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that sounds about right to me actually.
it's like you should apply for this cast.
Yeah. What else you got for us?
No, that's all. You guys go with your shonen.
Oh, well, for teens, for myself, I just said any of the original big three, which was Naruto, Bleach, or One Piece. I mean, at this point, you know what they are. You know that they got a lot of people into anime back in the early to mid 2000s, and I think that it's just quintessential gateway anime. It's really all you can say about it. I would say if you had to pick one over all the others, I would have to go with Naruto, mostly because the original series, at least, has an ending.
Would you still recommend it to people now? Like, isn't it a lot to start with since there's so many episodes?
It
I
is a
certainly,
lot.
if that's your concern, I wouldn't recommend One Piece because it still hasn't ended yet, and
No,
it
I
seems
meant,
like
like,
it's not going to.
for all of
Um,
them.
but Naruto, I would say yes. I personally think it's worth it because I actually really liked the story of Naruto and I watched it all the way through. Um, but
Like,
that's a good question. It depends on like how long your attention span is and if you actually appreciate long running storylines. I think if those two things are true, then yeah, I would say I would definitely recommend it to a teenager for getting them into anime.
So it does recommend on a somewhat individual basis.
Yeah, I would say personally, if you're concerned about it, watch the original series, all of the original series first, and then if you still like it, go with continue on with Shippuden. If you're kind of on the fence by the end of the original series, it's probably not really going to be your thing to watch it all the way through. But there's other stuff like it that you could try. I mean, you could try Bleach. I don't know why you'd go from Naruto to Bleach. It's like going from a fucking Lamborghini to a Ford Pinto. But I don't know. I think it depends on the person, really.
I feel like these big three, Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, suffer from the Pokemon effect that if you didn't get into it when you were like when it was in its heyday, then it's really hard to get into it now.
That might
That's
be
a
true, but
definite
some would say that
possibility.
One Piece has never not had a heyday.
Oh, that's
I mean,
true. Well, I don't
it's
know.
it's still all after all these years, it's still the most read manga in Japan. It's still
Yeah,
the
but
most
the
watched
manga doesn't
anime in
really-
Japan.
The manga doesn't count. You're not gonna get people into it with the manga. I would
No,
I
but-
would definitely say the One Piece manga is not a gateway, but like is accessible to manga readers even now. But I think the anime, because it's just so much more of a time investment, the anime is that
True.
like it's so hard to get into because it's just so long.
Yeah, I definitely you make a good point, and I think to a degree you're definitely right. I just think that if you're looking for a shonen to get into anime with, I honestly don't think you can really go wrong with Naruto.
You should go with the Naruto knockoff. That's like a tenth of the size, Black Clover. Way better.
No. No, no, no. Hell no. Fuck you. No, 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 no.
Yes.
Fuck off.
What do you have? Shinoda?
Anywho, we already mentioned this a bunch of times, but I'm just gonna say it anyways. MHA for teens. It's pretty accessible. There's a sub and a dub for it, and dub's actually pretty good. So
So much screaming.
in MHA, not
Yes.
that much.
Every time someone touches Deku, he keels over and screams.
I mean, if you want to talk about
What?
screaming, we can always talk about Black Clover.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It literally starts off with like 15 seconds of screaming.
He's a
Let's not.
screamer. What can I say?
Oh no.
That is, you disgust me, sir. You should. That was bad, and you should feel really bad.
And another one that I want to say, Soul Eater. Another one we talked about. Pretty damn good anime. It has a lot of things that aren't necessarily too Japanese. It's more the style of the show itself. Everything else though, it's pretty damn unique. And because thanks to that, it can be pretty easy to get into. I can easily recommend it to a good amount of teens, and they would pretty much love it, especially the edgy ones because it has the whole gothic style to it.
Yeah, especially with Medusa. She's like
Oh,
literally like the gothic evil villain.
wow, that's a milf. That oof.
You fuckers in your
Uh-huh.
milfs, Jesus Christ! First it was MHA. No, first it was Soul Eater. Now it's MHA.
Listen, let's move on to
Y'all fucking
adults.
thirsty ass
Oh
bitches.
God.
Let's move to adults. Show.
Okay, so I have for my adult recommendations 91 Days,
Yes, good
which
recommendation.
thank you. Which is like it's a gangster anime, which I think resonates with the adult Western taste. So, and it's a good it's a good well animated, good script, good plot and good characters. So, it's a pretty good anime. It's like it's not that popular though. So,
It wasn't
that's
even
the
that
only issue.
popular when it was airing, which is shocking.
Ooh, I just thought of one because I don't know why I thought of this, but do you guys think Race would be a good gateway anime for adults?
What?
I never heard of this.
Erased?
Oh,
Oh,
erased. I thought you
Erased.
said race. And it's like,
Me
are you
too.
talking about like, race? Someone's a race? It's like no, but yeah, erased. I don't know. No, I wouldn't say it's a good gateway
I don't
anime.
think it's a good anime, so no. It's not a good gateway
Damn.
anime either.
I mean, I personally no, I don't think it'd make a great gateway anime. No,
Okay. Sorry, I
and I
just
can't
thought
really,
of
I
it
can't
all
really
of a
like,
sudden. And I was like, huh.
I can't really parse out why I think that. I just don't.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyways,
I
Alex,
think it's
would you like to talk about your next choice?
Yeah. Well, kind of going on the backs of 91 Days, I have something else that's slightly gangster related with an anime called Bakano. Bakano used to be a really underappreciated anime when it first came out, and for several years after it premiered. But over the last, I'd say, 5 years or so, it's become really. It's finally gotten the recognition it deserves. I also think if you are an adult trying to get into anime, it's a really good it's a good anime to start with. Maybe not as your very first, but maybe your second or your third. Um, it's got a really great cast of characters, a phenomenal jazz-inspired soundtrack. It takes place in America in the 1930s, so it's got that going for it. It's got a really cohesive story, and it tells a really good story over the span of 14 episodes. So it's not that long. It's not that much of a time investment. And if you're really into if you're into gangster stuff, if you like 91 Days, definitely try out Bakano. Um, that's it's really all I can say about it. I think it's someone who's trying to get into it. It's got a really good setting and it's really accessible.
my only issue with Baccano is that it has a very convoluted plot. It's not in chronological order,
No,
so it's confusing.
no, the plot is definitely not in chronological order, but I think if you are an adult and you're someone who's at least mildly educated, you should be able to follow it pretty well.
I don't think so. I think it's on par with Monogatari in its
Alex,
confusing.
you're counting on the fact that people might be somewhat intelligent. You're reaching.
In the
I know that's a
West.
high bar. I really do know that's a high bar, and I may be setting myself up to fail. But I'm gonna stick with it. I think that Baccano, maybe not as your very first anime, but is like one of your first five. I would say is not necessarily a bad choice. If you're an adult, if you're a kid, you won't understand what the fuck is going on. Another one that I have, and it's another one we've talked about already, is Ghost in the Shell. Specifically, the very first movie from 1995 from 95. Again, it's got a really good cast of characters. It's got a great story that's very cohesive. The animation for its time was really good, and I still think to this day is pretty damn good. Yeah, it's Ghost in the Shell. I mean, it spawned an entire series. Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, which is also pretty damn good. Yeah, if you're into like cyberpunk stuff, and you're trying to get into anime as an adult, I definitely recommend it. All right, Shinoda, what you got for us?
All right, our final choice. We actually talked about this already, but we're going to talk about this again because if you're an adult, you very well might appreciate this even more. Death Note. As a adult, you can watch this however and wherever in your lifetime, and it can be such a interesting experience, mostly because you won't just be watching it because it's edgy or whatever, but there's a lot of philosophical questions that Death Note can ask that can actually have people talking and thinking, and it's such a surreal experience.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I necessarily say adult, but definitely late teen would be good. But I don't know. Maybe adults could actually get into anime through Death Note too.
I
I don't
know a
know.
fair amount of adults that have actually really gotten into anime. No, crave more serious and more dramatic anime because of this, but
More
stuff in the
dramatic. I don't think you can get more melodramatic than Death Note.
let's not. Oh God.
I'll take a
Um.
potato chip and eat it.
Uh. But yes, I
Death
do
Note
know a
hits
fair amount
melodrama
of
really
adults that
well.
yeah, I do know a fair amount of adults that have gotten into anime, especially thanks to Death Note, because it wasn't just something that was kiddie. It was well thought out, pretty good, entertaining show.
A big like reason why I lean towards recommending it to late teens is that the protagonist is very he is in high school and he acts like high school-ish. So there's an issue there, but I can see the appeal for adults too. But
Yeah.
I think it's more appealing for teens.
Yeah. Just don't watch the Netflix Death Note live action movie. That wasn't that's not a good way to get into
No.
to anime. That no.
Yeah. If you're gonna watch it after you've seen all the good stuff.
Yes.
That's why movies are bad. Go with the TV series.
God damn it. He spun it around on me and he oh man, that's like
Yeah.
a double mic drop. Jesus
That's
Christ.
alright.
Oh man. Well, on that note, I think it's time to put a little bow on this. So thank you all out there for dropping in to listen to us. We hope you enjoy it because we always enjoy bringing this stuff to you. If you want to check out previous episodes of the podcast, you can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. If you want to keep up with what we're doing and have a little more fun, you can join our Discord server, become a member of our Facebook group, follow our Twitch channel, and visit our website. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, criticisms, or concerns on this or any episode, feel free to shoot us an email. Links to all of these things will be down below in the description. As always, I have been your host, Alex, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, everybody.
Night.
Once again, thank you for meeting up with us, everyone, at Otakon. It's such a pleasure to know that we actually have people that listen to us. And, have a good night, everyone. Have a good weekend or weekday, wherever you're doing. Have a
You
good
know
one.
what I didn't talk about during the thing about Otakon that I should have?
How drunk he got.
No, well the drunk stuff was funny too. No, I almost gave a cosplayer a heart attack.
Oh
I think I might
yeah.
have slightly given a cosplay. No, it was someone dressed up as Ogi from Monogatari series, and they were walking by, and I threw out my arm and said, "Spooky Oogie," and she's like, "Oh," she's clutching her chest, and I was like,
I was
"Oh."
there for that. She got legitimately scared because she was like, "What the fuck is going on?"